Let me ask you something real. Have you ever wondered why some people, less talented than you, less educated, maybe even less spiritual, seem to keep winning, while you're still grinding, still praying, still trying? Most people wake up every day already behind. Behind on purpose, behind on peace, behind on power. Their alarm goes off and they reach for their phone, not to set the tone for their day, but to surrender it. Before they've even spoken life over their day, they've let the noise of the world dictate their worth, their direction, and their pace. Let me tell you something. The first hour of your day is not just a routine, it's a realm. It's the battleground where kings rise and the undisciplined retreat. If you don't take control of the morning will take control of you. And once your day is hijacked, it's only a matter of time before your destiny is delayed. Owning the morning doesn't mean you need to become a robot. It means you need to take responsibility. You don't need to start the day doing. You need to start the day becoming aligned, becoming sharp, becoming silent enough to hear God and bold enough to obey Him. What you do in private will determine what you can carry in public. That's why the morning is so sacred. That's why it's under attack. That's why distractions multiply the moment you open your eyes. Because if the enemy can confuse your morning, he can control your motion. But if you decide, truly decide, that no matter what happens, you're going to command your day with purpose, you become undistractable. The world teaches people to hustle, wake up and chase, but when you wake up with alignment, you don't chase, you attract. When you rise in excellence, you don't beg for opportunity, you become it, because excellence starts before you ever leave your house. Excellence is not loud, it's not urgent, it's quiet, steady, sacred. And if you want to live a powerful life, you need to give the first fruits of your morning to what matters most: clarity, focus, faith, and truth. You can't expect to walk in favor while waking up in chaos. You can't expect to lead in the boardroom if you've lost the battle in the bedroom. You've got to set the tone before the notifications, before the demands, before the to-do list. If you wake up and let the world decide your focus, don't be surprised when you feel fragmented. If you wake up and feed your phone before you feed your soul, don't be surprised when your energy runs dry by noon. You were never created to live on default. You were created to dominate your domain. But domination starts with discipline, and discipline starts the moment you wake up. So what does it look like to own your morning? It means starting with silence, not scrolling. It means creating space to hear truth, speak vision, and set your mind. It means thanking before asking, planning before reacting, and commanding before complaining. Owning the morning is not about being busy. It's about being built in the quiet place, built in the presence of God, built when no one sees, so when everyone's watching, you're not faking it, you're walking in it. Let me tell you what successful people know that average people ignore. You don't prepare for the battle in the battle. You prepare before it. The reason most people lose by lunchtime is because they never won the first hour. What you don't do in the morning matters just as much as what you do. Don't start with comparison. Don't start with the opinions of strangers. Don't start with urgency that isn't tied to your purpose. Start with you, your mind, your God, your vision, your next level. Every champion has rituals. Every great builder has a blueprint. The morning is where strategy meets spirit, where your assignment becomes clear and your authority gets activated. And if you skip that alignment, don't expect acceleration. Don't expect peace. Don't expect power. Look, you don't need more time. You need more ownership, because excellence doesn't come from wishing. It comes from waking up with the decision to dominate, not just the day, but yourself. If you keep waking up reacting, you will keep living defeated. But if you start waking up like your destiny depends on it, it will. The people who rise to the top don't just rise early. They rise ready, ready to listen, ready to move, ready to execute. They don't just get up. They get up with a decision to set their energy on purpose, not problems, a decision to speak truth louder than fear, a decision to move in alignment, not just ambition. So stop snoozing on your life. Stop letting the morning tell you who you are. You tell it, you declare it. You own it, because how you start the day shapes how you finish it. And you can't finish strong if you don't start surrendered. Excellence is not something you chase when the timing feels right. It's not something you put on like an outfit when opportunity shows up at your door. Excellence is not a feeling, it's not a mood, and it's certainly not a moment. Excellence is a standard, and until it becomes your standard, life will keep giving you what your inconsistency deserves. The biggest trap people fall into is treating excellence like it's seasonal. They get motivated in January, slack off in February. They grind hard on Monday, coast on Friday. They bring fire when someone's watching and fall apart when they're not. That's not excellence, that's emotional performance. You don't build a life of impact by being on some of the time. You build it by becoming someone who doesn't need applause to stay accountable. You don't need a stage, you need a standard. A standard that follows you into every room, a standard that speaks when no one is watching, a standard that doesn't rise and fall with circumstances. The problem is, most people confuse hype with excellence. They get a little momentum and they mistake it for mastery. But excellence is not proven in bursts. It's proven in repetition. It's not revealed in how loud you shout about your goals. It's revealed in how deeply you respect your process, especially when it feels slow, boring, or unseen. Average people chase motivation. Excellent people chase mastery. And the moment excellence becomes your standard, excuses stop making sense. You stop asking, "How do I feel?" and start asking, "What must I become?" You stop relying on pressure to perform and start building a foundation that pressure can't break. See, you can't visit excellence like it's a vacation. You have to live there. You have to build your house there. It's not something you use to impress people. It's something you use to honor your calling. Excellence is not about being better than other people. It's about being better than your last version. And if your standard doesn't challenge your comfort, it will eventually collapse under your calling. That's why most people will never see what's truly possible in their life. They keep negotiating with standards. One week they're on fire. The next week they're full of excuses. They let emotions dictate execution. But emotions are liars. Excellence doesn't ask how you feel. It asks who you said you'd be. The truth is, when excellence becomes your standard, you start to attract rooms that mediocrity could never unlock. You don't have to chase validation. You start carrying authority, and people can feel it. You walk differently. You speak with weight, not because you're perfect, but because you've practiced. You've rehearsed faithfulness in private, so now favor follows you in public. Let me be real, excellence will cost you. It will cost you comfort, convenience, laziness, and the company of the casual. But mediocrity has a price too, and the price is regret, missed assignments, buried potential. Doors you were born to walk through, but never reached because you treated excellence like a part-time hustle. Excellence demands you show up with integrity when no one is checking. It demands you give your best even when applause is absent. It demands that you treat the unseen as sacred as the spotlight, because that's where God promotes from, not your Instagram, not your resume. He promotes from your faithfulness. The standard of excellence will make you different. It will separate you. While others compromise, you stay consistent. While others chase shortcuts, you master the long game. While others rely on hype, you stay rooted in habit, and over time, that standard becomes your signature. People won't just know what you do, they'll know how you do it. They'll trust your name because it's been forged in daily fire. Excellence doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it looks like discipline when you're tired. Sometimes it looks like showing up early, staying late, fixing the small detail no one notices. It looks like saying no to average again and again until average no longer feels comfortable. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your standards. So if your results don't match your vision, it's not because you're not called. It's because your current standard can't carry the weight of what you've been praying for. Elevate it, protect it, live it. Don't let excellence be something you turn on and off. Let it be the foundation you never leave. When you adopt excellence as a standard, not a season, you stop waiting for the right time to be great. You become great right where you are, because you've decided that excellence isn't just what you do, it's who you are. In a world obsessed with big platforms, flashy results, and overnight success, it's easy to overlook the small things. The daily decisions, the hidden moments, the private disciplines. But if you study greatness, true, lasting legacy, building greatness, you'll discover this truth. Small things carry kingdom weight. In fact, it's often the things that seem insignificant that are shaping everything that matters. We love to celebrate the harvest, but we ignore the obedience that prepared the soil. We admire the mansion, but we disrespect the foundation. Everyone wants a big life, but no one wants to master the small details. And that's why so many never taste real elevation, because they're waiting for something big to change, not realizing that their next level is hidden in the small they keep skipping. The kingdom doesn't move by hype. It moves by honor, and honor starts in the small. How you respond when no one's watching. How you handle the email no one praises you for. How you follow through on the commitment no one remembers but you. That's where weight is built. That's where trust is forged. That's where God watches, not because he's petty, but because he's preparing. When you're faithful in the small, you're proving you can be trusted with more. The problem is, we think small means insignificant, but in the kingdom, small is sacred. God doesn't just reward big results. He honors quiet obedience. He doesn't need you to go viral. He needs you to go deeper. And that depth is developed in the moments you think don't matter. Think about the habits you repeat daily, the way you manage your time, the way you treat people when you're under pressure, the way you handle your finances, your body, your words. None of that may look impressive on the outside, but all of it is building something on the inside. You don't rise to impact because you got lucky. You rise because you carried weight when it was light, so God could trust you when it got heavy. You'll never conquer the stage if you're sloppy in the shadows. You'll never walk in overflow if you're reckless with what's already in your hands. God is not looking for flashy people. He's looking for faithful people. And faithfulness always starts with stewardship, not over millions, but over minutes, not over a crowd, but over your character. Most people want influence without integrity. They want increase without structure. But the kingdom doesn't work like that. It's the people who honor the small who qualify for the large, the ones who say, even if no one sees me, I will bring excellence. Even if no one claps, I will still show up. Even if it looks small, I will treat it like it's kingdom-sized, because it is. That conversation you have with your child, kingdom weight. That email you send with excellence, kingdom weight. That prayer you whisper in the dark, kingdom weight. That time you forgive instead of hold a grudge, kingdom weight. That moment you tell your flesh no when no one's watching, kingdom weight. Heaven doesn't measure things the way the world does. The world looks for followers. God looks for follow-through. The world looks for metrics. God looks for motives. The world crowns the impressive. God crowns the consistent. Every great leader, every giant slayer, every destiny fulfiller was once in a small place. And how they handled that small place determined whether they could handle elevation. David didn't become a king the day he sat on the throne. He became a king when he protected sheep no one valued. Joseph didn't become a ruler in Pharaoh's palace. He became a ruler in a prison cell, stewarding his gift without a platform. What are you doing with the small in your life? Are you brushing it off, waiting for something bigger? Or are you treating it like training for what's coming? Because if you're not faithful with 5 talents, why would God give you 10? If you can't lead yourself, why would He let you lead others? God multiplies what you manage well. And the key to management is not waiting for ideal conditions. It's working with what you have now. Excellence in the small is proof that you're not just chasing outcomes, you're honoring the process. That's the kind of heart heaven can trust. Don't underestimate the invisible. That's where identity is forged. That's where your name is being written in places your feet haven't touched yet. That's where power is developed, not in the crowd, but in the quiet. So the next time you're tempted to say, "This doesn't matter," remember, everything matters in the kingdom. Because the way you do the small is the way you'll eventually do the big. And if you can carry the weight of the small with honor, humility, and discipline, you'll be ready when God puts more in your hands. Most people have a calendar full of deadlines, tasks, appointments, and reminders, but still feel lost, overwhelmed, or unfulfilled. Why? Because a calendar without a covenant is just noise. It's a checklist with no conviction. It's motion with no meaning. If you want to walk in purpose and power, you can't just schedule your time. You have to sanctify it. Calendars are about commitments. Covenants are about consecration. A calendar tells you what you need to do. A covenant reminds you of who you're becoming. Most people are trying to manage time when they haven't mastered alignment. And that's why life feels busy but not blessed. It's not that you lack hours. It's that you lack intention. You don't just need productivity. You need promise. You need to treat your time like it's holy, not just hectic. Because when you live by a covenant, every minute means something. You don't just wake up to do things. You wake up to fulfill something that's been written over your life. And if you don't build your day around your identity, the world will build it around its agenda. When you write your plans, the question is not just, what do I need to get done? The question is, what kind of person do I covenant to be at 6 a.m.? What kind of standard do I walk in by noon? What kind of power do I steward before the day ends? A covenant says, this is not optional. This is who I've agreed with heaven to become, and anything that contradicts that identity has to go. A calendar says, here's my to-do list. A covenant says, here's my to-be list. Who do I have to be to carry the vision? Who do I have to be to lead with integrity? Who do I have to be to live in overflow, not burnout? Because success isn't found in checking boxes. It's found in becoming someone worthy of the breakthrough. You were not created to survive your day. You were created to rule in it, but ruling doesn't happen by default. It happens by design, and design comes from discipline, not random effort, but intentional living. Not just managing tasks, but aligning with truth. Covenants require clarity. You have to know what your life is submitted to. If you don't, you'll say yes to everything and commit to nothing. And let me be honest, one of the greatest attacks on your destiny is a cluttered calendar. The enemy doesn't always need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you. If he can't kill your calling, he'll drown it in busyness. But a covenant creates borders. A covenant reminds you, this hour belongs to focus. This block belongs to prayer. This time belongs to building. You stop asking what's urgent and start asking what's essential. You stop looking for the easiest route and start honoring the right one. This is about more than productivity hacks. This is about spiritual structure. Because if you don't structure your day around your anointing, you'll waste your energy on things that don't carry eternal weight. You'll spend your time putting out fires instead of walking in fire. And then you'll wonder why you feel empty, even though you've been busy. You need to stop treating your daily schedule like it's just business. It's spiritual. What you say yes to is a reflection of what you believe about your calling. Every yes is an agreement. So what agreements are you making with your time? What voices are you allowing into your margin? What distractions are you justifying in the name of I'm busy? If you want to elevate your life, elevate your agreements. Don't just block out time, bless it. Don't just schedule meetings, sanctify them. Don't just plan routines, protect your rhythm, because when you create covenants, you don't need motivation. You have mission. And mission is what keeps you moving when feelings fade. Creating covenants means you don't just commit to a task, you commit to transformation. You wake up knowing, I don't belong to everything, I don't chase everything, I'm not available to everything, my time is too valuable, my purpose is too heavy, my soul is too precious. So you stop negotiating with chaos and start walking with clarity. You don't need another planner. You need a personal agreement with your potential, a covenant that says, this is who I am, this is what I honor, this is what I refuse, and I will not deviate because distraction looks attractive. When you live by covenant, you become consistent, not because life is easy, but because your identity is clear. And when your identity is clear, your time becomes sacred. Your effort becomes effective. Your day becomes dominion. So don't just plan your week. Prophecy over it. Don't just organize your time, own it, because the break through your waiting on doesn't just show up in your future. It's created in the covenant you make with your daily decisions. Excellence is not for the curious, it's for the committed, and the price tag, it's daily. There's no one-time payment for mastery, no shortcut to greatness, no buy one get one free sale on discipline. Excellence is expensive because it costs everything that's not aligned with it. And if you're not willing to pay the price daily, you don't qualify to carry the weight of what you say you want. You can desire the spotlight, but if you haven't paid for integrity in the dark, that light will expose you. You can ask for increase, but if you've been dodging consistency, the blessing will bury you. The truth is, what looks like delay is often just heaven protecting you from what you're not prepared to handle, not because you're not called, but because you haven't honored the cost. Most people want to rent excellence. They want to show up strong when it's convenient, when people are watching, when there's applause. But excellence doesn't respond to convenience. It responds to covenant. It doesn't move when you feel like it. It moves when you decide to keep showing up, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when no one sees. That's the cost. Showing up daily when quitting feels easier. Paying attention to the small detail when cutting corners looks tempting. Saying no to distractions when your feelings say yes. Excellence is expensive because it demands you, not your talent, not your ambition, you. Fully surrendered, fully present, fully obedient. You don't drift into greatness. You decide your way into it, one choice at a time, one early morning when you'd rather sleep, one disciplined hour when everyone else is scrolling, one hard conversation, one prayer in silence, one unseen act of obedience. And you do it again tomorrow. That's the payment plan of the excellent. The problem is, we often romanticize success. We glorify the fruit, but ignore the grind. We want the crown without the cross. We want the prize without the process. But the people who walk in power didn't stumble into it. They paid for it with tears, with time, with repetition, with refinement, and they keep paying because excellence doesn't take days off. There's a lie floating around that says once you make it, the pressure disappears. No, it intensifies, because what you don't maintain with excellence will collapse under your neglect. That's why so many people get what they prayed for and still lose, because they never built the strength to sustain it. They sprinted when they should have been building systems. They got loud when they should have gone deeper. You don't just pay once, you pay daily, with how you think, how you speak, how you serve, how you carry yourself. It's in the way you prepare, even when it seems like nothing's happening. It's in the way you steward the season you're in, even when it doesn't look like what you expected. Because excellence isn't for seasons. It's for life. When you decide to live at this level, you will lose some things. You'll lose the comfort of compromise. You'll lose the friendships that don't value your growth. You'll lose the ability to play small to make people comfortable. But what you gain is worth every drop of sweat. Clarity, confidence, spiritual weight, favor, and the quiet authority that comes from knowing you paid in full. There's a reason very few people live excellent lives, because they won't pay the price long enough. They get tired, they get bored, they get distracted. But consistency is the currency of the great, and the moment you stop paying, the decline begins. You might not see it right away, but it's happening. Erosion of vision, decay of discipline, dilution of purpose. Excellence is expensive because it demands intentionality in every area. You can't afford to be sharp in your business and sloppy in your character. You can't be elite in public but lazy in your private life. That's not excellence, that's performance, and performance always fades, but purpose, that stays, that sustains, that multiplies, but only when you've paid the price with who you are, not just what you do. The thing about paying daily is, you don't always feel the reward immediately. It's quiet, it's slow, it's uncelebrated, but the compound interest of consistency is real. What you sow in discipline today will show up as impact tomorrow. What you sacrifice now will become your strength later. So the question isn't, do you want to be great? The question is, are you willing to pay for it daily, even when it doesn't look like it's working? Can you still show up excellent when no one's clapping? Can you still give 100% when the results are 0%? That's where the real ones are separated. That's where legacy is built. If you want to walk in excellence, understand this. You won't pay for it with money. You'll pay with discipline. You'll pay with focus. You'll pay with everything small. Mindedness wants you to keep. And you'll pay not just once, but every single day. The breakthrough you've been praying for may not come on a Sunday during a conference or when the crowd is cheering you on. It might come on a regular Tuesday morning in a moment that feels unimportant when no one is watching. That's why you can't afford to ignore any day, because the day you ignore might be the day that decides everything. We think destiny is tied to big events, but heaven moves through daily decisions. The life you want is not built in one moment. It's built over time, brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision. And the day you choose to show up, the day you say, I'll get to it later, might be the very day where alignment was waiting for you, the day your obedience was supposed to intersect with opportunity. The enemy doesn't need to ruin your entire life. He just needs to convince you that today doesn't matter, that your effort today is too small, that your discipline today won't make a difference, that your prayer today isn't powerful, that your excellence today isn't worth it. And that's how greatness is lost, not through rebellion, but through neglect. Every ignored day compounds into a pattern, and every pattern is either building your future or breaking it. See, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with days you thought didn't matter. The ordinary days, the days when you feel stuck, the days when results are invisible. That's where your real character is being built. You don't rise to greatness. You grind into it quietly, repetitively, faithfully, and most of that happens on days that feel just like the one you're tempted to waste. The day you ignore might have been the day your consistency finally clicked. The day your gift started compounding. The day your mindset turned a corner. But you'll never know because you dismissed it as just another day. Let's be clear. Every day is not easy, but every day is essential. You are either sharpening your edge or getting dull. You are either feeding your vision or starving it. You are either walking in purpose or drifting in passivity. And it doesn't show up in fireworks. It shows up in your posture. In how you enter your morning, in how you steward your moments, in how you carry your name. We're so obsessed with the big win that we forget where the victory is really won. In the mundane, in the silence, in the places where no one claps. If you can be excellent when it doesn't seem to matter, that's how heaven knows you're ready for when it does. The day you ignore might be the day that changes everything for someone else, too. That phone call you were too tired to make, it might have unlocked a partnership. That project you shelved because no one was watching, it might have been the seed for your overflow. That workout, that prayer, that journal entry, that email, they might look small to you, but they carry weight beyond what you see. God often hides the extraordinary inside the ordinary, not to trick you, but to train you, to see if you can treat every day with reverence, to see if you can honor the small without knowing when the big will show up, to see if you're disciplined even when nothing around you affirms it. You say you want elevation, but have you proven that today matters to you? Because if today is treated as disposable, don't be surprised when destiny stays delayed. You're not being punished, you're being positioned, and positioning is always revealed by how you handle what seems insignificant. The truth is, how you do anything is how you'll eventually do everything. So if you're sloppy today, you'll be sloppy when the stakes are higher. If you're lazy when no one's watching, you'll crumble under pressure when the spotlight hits. That's why the smallest actions today are actually prophetic. They declare who you're becoming tomorrow. There is no such thing as a throwaway day when you're walking in purpose. Every day is an opportunity to become sharper, deeper, stronger, more aligned. You can either use today as a stepping stone or let it become another excuse. And excuses are expensive. They cost you time, clarity, peace, and often your assignment. This is not about perfection. It's about presence. Are you present in your own life today? Are you awake to what's being offered to you? Because favor often shows up disguised as discipline. And if you're looking for a miracle while avoiding maturity, you'll miss the move of God that's already in motion. So stop ignoring the day, stop waiting for perfect conditions, stop putting your future on layaway because today doesn't feel exciting. The day you ignore could have been the day that defined your next season. Your job is to show up, sow well, and steward with excellence, even when the harvest is invisible, because nothing in the kingdom is wasted, not even today.